Good afternoon. There you go. After many months of test rides, difficult decisions, self-doubting, questioning, this is what we ended up with. Point number one I want to make before we go into the beauty shots is, how can I be such a hypocrite? Based upon my last video. We'll explain that after the beauty shots. There we go, guys, enjoy it. As you can see, here we are, 2023 Honda CRF1100 Africa Twin Adventure Sports DCT electronic suspension with the Plus pack. Let's get the elephant out of the room. I know my last video said that the Africa Twin wasn't likely, and I'll explain now how I ended up with this. Point number one, it was a financial aspect. This was an incredible deal. This is the one I referred to in my last video, so this was £17,999. That included the Plus pack, that included a 3-year service pack, data tool registration, PDI costs, everything. Essentially, to summarise it up, everything for £18,000. That is too good a deal to pass up. The other aspect is that I've come down to a final choice of 3 vehicles. It was this, the R1250 GS, and the ZH2SX Performance Sports. Now the GS was a close call. I'm not going to lie, it was a really close call. Some people enjoying their Harleys, and there you go, GS. What else have we got? Another GS, Ducatis, and another GS. The reason the GS dropped off the cards, it was not price. Price was not the factor. Barnstormer had some up at around about 20. Vines had some GSAs fully loaded with everything, essentially the same as this. just under £20,000 as well, so it wasn't the deciding factor. The deciding factor was I took the GS and the GSA out for test rides, and I had warning lights. It was nothing serious, tyre pressure monitors, something to do with a suspension failure, I never really did understand it, and something to do with the CAN bus issue, which I didn't spend too much time reading it. Why they weren't faults as such, I think they were ghosts. Just stopped at the side of the road, turned off, reset. They weren't away at all. There wasn't any issues with the machine. It really played on me how sensitive they were. And when it comes to the electronic suspension, which I really wanted, just to be clear, I really wanted electronic suspension, and I'll detail why in a minute. This has electronic suspension. The difference over this and the 1250 GS, specifically the 1250, because the 1300 is different, is that you can go into the screen on this and you can adjust every single aspect of your suspension, and it does make a difference. Obviously you've got your 4 basic riding modes, or 2 that you can preset. The ones that you can preset, you can go into there and change everything as if they're manual suspension, and that the 1250 does not have. The other thing this has that the 1250 doesn't, and I think, I'm happy to be corrected, I think this is unique in the two-wheeled world, is the touch screen. And that is fantastic because it's Apple CarPlay. All the BMWs, the Kawasaki even, all use proprietary apps, and they are very unstable. You can get them to work, and the dealers update that as the bike learns to the app and what gear you're using. It does become more stable, but the point is, more stable is not stable. This I've tried out, obviously the Apple CarPlay, the Bluetooth connectivity. Despite what some people say, perhaps it's because it's the last of the 23 models, who knows, I find it perfectly stable, and for me that was a huge factor. The electronic suspension is also shared with the Triumph as well. It's the EERA system, hence the title of the video. It was not a spelling mistake, it was deliberate. I specifically wanted the electronic suspension, and that was the one thing that the test ride of the last one, the standard one, really confirmed to me is just how good this EERA system is. 1 up with luggage. It's as close as you're ever going to get to being near perfect for me and how I ride. 2 up, I've tried it with both of my kids, not at the same time obviously. One's 9, one's 12, so they're very different sizes and shapes. I've tried it with Mrs. HeadRace, who again is a very different size and shape, and when you do the preload on it, there is a remarkable difference, and all 3 of them said we can really feel the difference. The other deciding factor was DCT, and I was the same as everyone. Don't want to do that, want to do the gears myself. I've been doing this way for 35 odd years. It's not for me, not for me. And then I tried it, and D mode, let's get this out of the way. D mode, never use D mode, it's horrible. It feels like the engine's going to grenade, it's horrible. Do not use D mode. Sorry Honda, it's a waste of time, don't bother. I think it's purely to pass emissions, to be honest, and that's how they get it for a Euro 5+. S2 mode is fantastic. And again, all 3 pillion passengers said we loved the gearbox because it is so smooth. Not saying my riding wasn't smooth. Why it's such a big advantage in the context of an adventure bike, and I'm being very specific, is the gearing is very short on adventure bikes. These are geared for slightly more, but limited to 134, as if that's an issue. It's not an issue. The point is, when you're going around town using these normally in and out of villages, touring 2 up, the gearing's very short, and that's a fantastic thing, but it does mean lots and lots of up and down the gearboxes and manual clutching. Not a problem, I agree, but when you've got a solution that's better, and that word's going to upset people, but I stand by it, the DCT is better in this context for an adventure bike when you do 2 up touring. That's my opinion. I'm happy to be controversial, upset people. That's fine, that's my decision, it's my money. The reason why I want to talk about being a hypocrite is that I still stand by everything I said about build quality. new bikes are not built like old bikes. They're just the facts, okay? Lots of reasons behind it: production costs, recycling, environmental costs. We know all about that. I don't disagree with any of it. However, this is the best built of the current fleet, if that makes sense. The 1300 GS, I don't want to upset anyone, so I'm not going to talk about that. Not ideal. 1250 GS, very good. Yes, I accept the build quality on the 1250 GS is on a par with this, minus the electronics. The Kawasaki, yeah, it's not bad. I would say it's a close round thing in terms of quality. A markup from Suzuki. Oh, by the way, I looked at the 1000 GSX, it was quite nice actually. Yeah, but I don't think it's that sort of money's worth. So once I took the other one, the one I demo rode back, it stuck in my memory, to be honest. I didn't hold the tyres against it. I didn't hold anything specific that was not available on the Adventure Sports model. But the electronic suspension was what put me across the line in the end, and for what I used this bike for, that was the deciding factor, and the deal that Bournemouth Honda gave me. Another reason why DCT wasn't a factor for me, another reason why the 21-inch wheel wasn't a factor for me, is because I've got my Fireblade. If I want to go and ride quickly and have some fun and on my own and do all the sporty, exciting stuff, then I've got my Fireblade for that. So that made it simpler for me in the fact that all of my, you know, sporty, fun ride that you probably can't show on YouTube, that's all covered by my R5. So none of those things, the manual gearbox, for example, the sportier handling, none of those were factors in this decision because I've decided to keep the R5 again. The advantages that the Adventure Sports offers, this model, over a couple of bikes, the 1250 GS I'll start with, this has the 3-position nighttime riding lights, the lean angle lights. They're better than the BMW headlight. Yes, I did try them at dark. This is the active headlight thing the BMW's got. This is a cheaper solution. It looks better because it's not quite such a big bulky unit on the front, and it works better, to be honest. It's much quicker reacting. This is a better solution. The Adventure Sports also comes with the tubeless rims, which was an absolute essential. The reason why is because I've had 3 punches in the past. On my cross tourer, had I had a tube rim, I would have been stuffed. With the tubeless rim, I carry an inflator, or I carry a repair kit, no problem. It'll get you where you're going. Yes, it's best to change your tyre. So for me, tubeless rims was a massive thing. The massive tank on this one, I picked this up a week ago. I haven't filled it with fuel yet because as soon as I rode away from the Honda dealership, straight to the petrol station because it came on the low fuel warning straight away. First full tank, and it's still on the same tank now. We're on 240 miles and it's still showing a range of 80, so 300's easy. Another deciding factor for me was the fuel range on this, and to a degree the economy. There's going to be a lot of videos about this bike, mainly because it's mine and I've got easy access to it, and I really want to break it down into lots of separate videos rather than one huge long video. They tend to do better, and I understand we get bored of my voice. I understand that, including me. So this sort of short video is going to be more about my decision really, and across the next 4 years, that's how long I've got this for, we will go through the things together about what I think about each individual aspect of the bike. The luggage was again a big factor. I know I spoke in my last one about the quality of the luggage. I had a closer look at it, and it's all made by Givi. It's exactly the same luggage that the Triumph Explorer uses, or the Triumph range uses to be specific. Again, all the Africa Twins that you have the luggage, or the specific Honda luggage, it's all the same luggage. It's all made by Givi. The boxes themselves are fantastic. The lock-in mechanism, possibly not, but anyway. So I'm going to start wrapping this video up, guys, and just give you an update about what it is I decided to go with. As I had hoped, I got way above book value for my cross tourer because of the condition it was in. And that just goes to show, if you look after your bikes, the same as I do and most of us do, yes, they're adventure bikes, use them but don't abuse them. It went back to Honda in the same condition that I bought it in, and that was so easy for them because basically all they had to do was wheel it in, give it a proper clean. They are going to do the 16,000 mile service before it's sold. So I'm not going to give away the exact price that I got for it because people might expect the same value. I'm not going to do that. But I got this at 17,999 with everything you can see. That includes the inner bags as well. That includes the Honda tank bag, which is about 120 odd quid for that one. It includes the little vinyl bits that you can stick on there to stop your tank being scratched up. It includes the wind deflector kit, which is very good. It includes the anti-scratch for the TFT screen, which is actually on back order at the moment, but if you buy a brand new bike it's in the kit anyway. Obviously the full engine bars. This thing is fully loaded, and I've got the seat in the upper of the two positions as well for those that are interested. Typical YouTuber style. I'm 6'1". I weigh about 90-95 kilos, and I've got a 32-inch inside leg. So there we go, guys. I'm really open to comments. In fact, I really like your comments. Really interested to see what you think about my decision to go for this. By all means, tell me I'm a hypocrite based upon my last video. You're absolutely correct. And I'm happy to explain over the course of the next 4 years why we went here. So there you go. After all the test rides, Harleys, GS's, some of the Chinese brands, a couple of these, you name it, I've test ridden it across the last 6 months. And this is what we ended up with. Looking forward to the next 4 years, guys. Thank you very much.